Yeah, well, looks like Riot season started already. So if you still got your own decorations up, time to get them down and put your Riot season's decorations up. Uh, as it stands right now, National Guard has been federalized, and about 2,000 National Guardsmen are being sent to Los Angeles as we speak. This has been declared an insurrection by the president and his chiefs of staff. So we need to really be on our toes and watch how this plays out because this could turn very bad very quick. And watching some of the other live streams that I've bouncing around from on other tabs, it appears that there's been a lot of injuries, but not from the police themselves. It's these guys hurting each other. Uh, One guy went to throw a mortar that had a very fast fuse on it and realized it was a fast fuse and panicked and just gave it a quick toss and really hurt himself. They were yelling and screaming for medics. Um, Protesters throwing frozen bottles of water, hitting their own. It is rather hilarious at what these fucking cunts are doing. They're it's a disarray. We'll flip through some of the other feeds and see what people are showing. Police are now finally declaring it an unlawful assembly. They know declaring it an unlawful assembly, they won't disperse, but uh, basically that gives the police more authority. That's basically what they've done is read them the Riot Act. So the stuff I've seen before I started going live with this is any injuries have been caused by the protesters to other protesters. Um, haven't seen the police do a whole lot of anything except for what they're doing now, standing in line and keeping as much as they can in that area blocked off and traffic flowing. If anybody wants to jump in on the live stream, feel free to. If there's anybody here that wants to talk or uh, say anything in the side chat there. Chris, 2,000 National Guards are being sent in, and I'm hearing tale of maybe Marines too. I haven't been able to verify that yet. Oh, it looks like the police might be starting to do something and push the protesters back. I know earlier before I started the live stream, one of them decided to try and light and throw a mortar, and it was a fast fuse, and it was hilarious because he just basically tossed it in front of himself and damn near blew himself up. So far, all the injuries I've seen have been protesters injuring other protesters. At the rate they're going, I don't think the police need to even be out there. I think they'll just all hurt themselves and be done with it in the next couple hours the way they're going. Yeah, if anybody feels like jumping in, go ahead and scroll down. And I do believe I have it set where you guys can jump in and actually chat live if you'd like um, with me instead of using the side chat. So if anybody wants to jump in, feel free to do so. Right now, my concern about all this is one, the National Guards being federalized and this being declared an insurrection. That's going to uh, definitely open that up to just about anything that happens anywhere in the United States that the government may not agree with. It's going to be a dangerous thing to definitely go into. The other problem with this is, yes, this is Los Angeles. This is kind of expected, but this is going to spread. It'll probably be Los Angeles, and then you'll see it up in the Northeast, like Seattle and Portland, and it'll start spreading to uh, other areas that are even predominantly red, but have a few small blue pockets, like Austin, Texas, places like that, and it's going to uh, get scary, and it's going to get dangerous, not just for law enforcement, but for everyday citizens that could go out and be going about their business and be caught up in one of these flash mobs. So it's not going to be good. You're going to have to really be aware of your surroundings at all times. Yeah, I guess this is a good time with the topic of my channel that I tend to stick with, um, to talk about stuff that you should carry with you. And this is a good example of why, at minimum, you guys should carry uh, something like this with you. It's very small, compact trauma kit. You've got compression bandages, chest seals, tourniquet, shears to cut off clothes. Something like this should be kept in your car, or if you carry a backpack or something, get one of these vacuum sealed kits and throw it in there and keep it with you, because you never know when something like this is going to end up sparking off and you're going to need to facilitate your own aid or aid to someone you love that's with you, or even just somebody nearby. So it's always good to have stuff like that and be prepared, because with all this going on, it's going to essentially just be pop up, and you're going to be caught in it, kind of like being caught in a flash flood. You're not going to know it happens until you're surrounded. So you should be really prepared to uh, be able to render your own first aid until you can get to help, or to help can get to you. Um, and that's just simple facts of life on how this summer's probably going to be, because this is just a start. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse. Trust me on that. Welcome, everybody. Feel free to jump in the chat if you like, and we can talk about what's going on. With the National Guard being deployed, the quickest ones they're going to have to get there are going to be there, definitely out of California. I'm beginning to wonder how many of them are going to refuse orders and say, nope, they're not doing it, because it's California, and, they've got a different way of thinking there. And they've been indoctrinated to think everything's okay. Tell me, what do you think's going to happen? Uh, to the few people here, feel free to join in the chat. I do believe I have it set where you can join me live, or ask questions, or have any comments that you want to leave in the side chat. I'd appreciate it. Tell me what you guys think is going to happen with all this. Well, at least the news reporter's smart enough to stay far away from everything. That dude's got a gallon of milk. Somebody's apparently been tear gassed or pepper sprayed. One of the things I don't get is you got all these people, they're marching around and waving the Mexican flag. If they're so proud and their country's so great, why'd they come here illegally? Why are they worried about getting sent back? If their country's so great, why didn't they stay there? the other thing that baffles me is what the hell does this have to do with the Palestinians and the terrorists over there in Palestine, and why are these fools even supporting and protesting for them? Definitely waiting for one of these cars to be attacked that's passing through. Definitely going to happen. Yeah, it looks like the AMPM's about ready to get busted into and looted. Anybody that's here, I do believe I have it set. This is the first time I've really done a live. I do believe I have it set where you can uh, jump in and actually go live with me if you guys have anything you want to talk about. Uh, Please feel free to jump in. Did that dude or chick or whatever the hell it is just for real throw up a gang sign? Well, I take it back. It don't look like they're ready to be looted. It looks like they were looted. Feel free to comment or ask any questions in the side chat. And I do believe I'm set where if you want to jump into the live with me, you can. If everybody wants to, feel free to do so. Well, they just flipped that truck over, didn't they? That chick just that was throwing up gang signs, just walked out with these motherfuckers are going in and stealing liquor, man. How about stealing a pair of work boots and getting a goddamn job? Some of you may be wondering and may not know this. You're watching this and watching the gas station get looted, and the police are right there, and it don't seem like they're doing anything. Um, by law, because of a Supreme Court ruling, they're not obligated to protect you or protect any business. Their only job is to protect the corporation and make revenue for the corporation, being the city, their employer, their state, their local governments, what have you. They have no duty to protect anyone's life or property. So the only buildings they'll be interested in protecting are the ones owned by the people signing their paychecks and protecting that property. Everybody else is left up to their own. That's why back in the 90s and them riots happened back then, you had the rooftop Koreans that had to take matters into their own hands. And, you know, those guys are my age and older now. They're probably going, yep, time to do it again. You see, that's the thing. They're looting the store and they're just standing outside drinking the booze that they stole with zero fucks given because it's California. They know they ain't going to do a goddamn thing to them. The governor and the elected officials are going, oh, these poor people, we can't arrest them and put them in jail. It's a bunch of bullshit. The thing is with all this, the previous administration knew that this would happen. Um, once a Democrat didn't have the White House, that these people would start getting deported and these riots would start happening, and it was all part of the plan. This was all planned from the get go to uh, have whatever president that is not of their party to look bad, like he didn't have any control. And, it just baffles the mind how anybody can fall for these tricks that they pull. The bad thing about all this is it's really galvanizing people, and they're not looking at these immigrants anymore as somebody trying to escape a bad situation. They're looking at them as they're just coming here to do whatever they want and you know fuck up the system and what have you. And it's like, if they're trying to get the people on their side, this is not helping them any. If anything, it's making it worse. There's going to be more people that see this, and it's going to cost them money, and because of taxes going up to repair the damage done, they're going to say, you know what, fuck these people, send them out of here. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And I think this was really all planned years ago, in the first administration, in case he ever came back, to have something like this happen, just to make him look bad, or uh, a cause for impeachment or whatever. So, and these people, they're what they call useful idiots. They believe what certain sects of people are telling them. Dude in a wheelchair is even riding and looting a store. You think you'd have learned the first time? Feel free to join the chat, whether it's in the side chat or if I do believe I'm set where people can join me live if they like. If there's anything on your mind or you have any comments, get them out there. Let's talk about it. David, I have heard that, but I have not been able to verify if the Marines are going in. I know they're sending the federalized and are sending in 2,000 National Guard troops, but I have not been able to verify yet about the Marines going in to be able to say that is 100% true. But I can guarantee if they send the Marines in, these people are going to have their fuck around and find out moment here real quick. I mean, hell, for that case, we could just send in Kyle Rittenhouse. He could take care of this. You know what, David? To be honest, the way things are going, I don't think you're going to have to re-up. I think it's going to come down to this is going to go widespread, and the more off the left coast that you go, inland to more of the red states, it's only going to be small pockets that are run by the blue side where there'll be problems, but they'll probably try and spread out into more red areas. So probably going to be best just to stay put and secure where you're at. Oh, there you go. Nevada's a good place to be. Oh, looks like they caught one. But yeah, I'm really waiting for this to start spreading north of California up into like Seattle and Portland and that whole area. It'll be a mess out there on the left coast. Well, Dave and Chris, thank you for your service. Yeah, my extent as far as being in the military goes is I was signed up for the Marine Corps and was 2 weeks into basic training and ended up hurting my knee and having surgery. And they said, once you have surgery on a joint like that, you're done. So they put me out. Hell, I didn't even meet my 180 days. And my favorite crayon,'s the green one, by the way. So I just jumped here on Facebook on my phone, and the first thing that pops up is 1 hour ago from the Hodge twins. If you guys know who they are, they're hilarious. They've got a picture of one of the protesters up. And he said, "This isn't activism, it's lawlessness. When you block ICE operations, breach federal property, or attack agents, you're not a protester, you're a criminal. President Trump is done tolerating chaos in the streets. The National Guard is rolling in, the FBI is on the ground. Order is being restored one arrest at a time." And she's wearing a shirt that has Donald Trump on it, says, "Not my president." Yeah, these protesters are definitely not the cream of the crop on things. And here we got another one is James Schulman. He posted, "Docs every ICE agent." Yeah, if anybody has a link or anything that the Marines are being sent in, because that is the rumor I've been hearing for the last couple hours, please post it in the chat so everybody can look at it. Okay, so here's an update on what you were talking about 1 hour ago. Camp Pendleton Marines could be deployed to Los Angeles as protests grow. Governor continues to push back. San Diego, President Trump is deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops to Los Angeles after 2 days of clashes between immigration authorities and demonstrators following civil raids across the city. Secretary of Defense has put Camp Pendleton Marines on high alert to be deployed if needed. Governor Newsom has been very vocal Saturday, taking to X, pushing it back against President Trump's orders to deploy the state National Guard, saying in part, this is the wrong mission and will erode the public trust. Never use violence, speak out peacefully. While protesters and federal immigration authorities in riot gear continue to clash on Saturday, tear gas and smoke filled the air on and off. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has posted on X Saturday night that he was mobilizing the National Guard immediately to support federal law enforcement in Los Angeles and place active duty Marines at Camp Pendleton on high alert to be mobilized if violence continues. That was broke by KUSI News, Fox 5, about an hour ago in San Diego. But yeah, if the Marines have to go in, these people are definitely going to have their fuck around and find out moment. Excuse me, guys. I am actually here in the Midwest, and it has been dry, and it is wreaking havoc with the allergies. You know, I guess this is a good time to bring this up again. I did it earlier in the video when I think there was like one or two people in here. But this is a good case to prove everything I've said. If you don't have one of these, and unfortunately Recon Medical is not in business, but you can find other companies that are making them, you should definitely carry one of these with you in your car or on your person if you carry some kind of backpack or something with you. A small pocket trauma kit that has a tourniquet, trauma shears, chest seal, compression bandage, all that stuff in it, because stuff like this is going to pop off, and it's going to pop off quick. You never know when you're going to be caught in something and have some kind of issue that you're going to have to be your own first aid to medical gets there, or get yourself out, or even be used on someone you love or care about. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to mute my mic. But yeah, definitely something people should be carrying, because no matter what, you're your own first line of defense and your own first line of any medical treatment that you're going to need when these things pop off. And it's not only that, you just never know when something's going to hit a flashpoint and you're going to be caught up in a situation that you don't want to be in or that you shouldn't be in because let's just face it, people are fucking crazy. Yours? Yeah, that's yours. I'm sorry, I had someone off to the side in the house talking to me. Think that chick in the flexi cuffs is starting to think she made poor life choices? David, if you're talking about the one from an hour ago where he said he's put the Marines at Camp Pendleton on high alert to be ready to go out if this gets too violent, yeah, I was just talking about that a few minutes ago. If there's something else that just happened, please share it with the group. That's why I said, that's cool. That's why I said about 10 minutes ago, if they have to call out the Marines, these people are going to really have their fuck around and find out moment. We all know how this is going to end. It's going to end with the words, "and a single pair of work boots was not stolen." So, do you really think the Marines from Pendleton will be called out, or do you think it'll just be handled by the National Guards? Okay, so yeah, I've never tried John Deere boots. I'm kind of a Wolverine boot type guy myself. You have to check them out there, Chris. I'm actually due for a new pair here real soon. I'll have to see if the local Farm and Fleet carries them, or Rural King, or one of them other farm supply stores we got here. You know, the real bad thing about all this going on right now is we're so divided and so polarized as a country, and certain groups of people so indoctrinated and brainwashed they believe what certain sides tell them, and all this only serves to divide the country more, and that people don't realize that's in the end what they're actually wanting. Sky News in Australia is also reporting on this. It's not shocking that they are. Um, but they're reporting about National Guard being federalized and sent into California, and Governor Newsom losing his mind about it. They're also reporting it started off with about 400 people gathered to protest in Paramount City, south of Los Angeles. The LA sheriff said, however, that number dropped to a dozen later in the day. Mr. Newsom warned in a post on X the federal government is sowing chaos so they can have an excuse to escalate. That is not the way any civilized country behaves. He described the developments as purposefully inflammatory and claimed it will only escalate tensions. Um, yeah, Frank boots are actually good. So are whites, and there's a company that got together with another shoemaker. It's not whites, but they hand make their boots, and they brought out the Rose Anvil line, which is a really neat boot because it's a cross between a lineman's boot and World War II military combat boot, where it actually has uh, cork and leather in the bottom that mold around your feet. I can't remember what company makes them. It might even be Frank's, because I know they're all handmade on like 100-year-old machinery and hand stitched and everything else. But real amazing boot. Okay, the Rose Anvil boot I was talking about is made by uh, Nick's Boots. And the pair I was talking about is called the ND2. And they were a very limited edition, and they've done the ND3 threes. They do like a run of these every year, and they're limited to about 500. But from what I've seen and talking to guys that have had them, they are like some of the toughest boots that you'll find. So what do we got going on here? The cops packing up and moving locations. Yeah, Chris, I just checked out the Patriot line of Frank's boots, and those are actually right up my alley of what I'm wanting, and actually more affordable than Whites or Nicks. Yeah, Chris, it's funny you mentioned the 10 millimeter because they are really picking up in popularity as a self defense, personal defense handgun. And I'm just surprised it took so long for it to happen. Yeah, I was right. They're moving out somewhere else. Something must be going down somewhere and getting worse out there, rolling the police out like that. Yeah, yeah, there should be a lot of people asking for raises with this going on. If it's anything, if it gets anywhere close to what happened in 91, I think it was, with the riots there and stuff, there's going to be a lot of rebuilding, and the tradesmen are actually going to hold all the cards on this one. I agree. When Colonel Cooper developed the round in the 70s and it started gaining popularity in the 80s, and I mean, even Don Johnson's character on Miami Vice there in the, I think it was first or second season, carried a Bren 10 before they switched them over to the Smith and Wesson 9 millimeter. And I think the reason it didn't catch on is when the FBI uh, went to them, they were smaller statured people were complaining about recoil and the size of the grip, and it's really not that bad, which led to the development of the 40 to which was just an anemic 10 millimeter round. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I myself wear a 13 boot, so yeah. When it comes to boots, though, it's like the weight don't bother me. I have never wore gym shoes, even as a kid. I always wore boots. The only time I ever had a pair of gym shoes on was when I had to have them on in school. But definitely growing up in the rural area and farm and everything else, I was always wearing some kind of heavy boot, or if it was mud season, definitely wearing the muckalucks and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just totally used to it. So the weight wouldn't be an issue at all for me. Yeah, unfortunately, back to what you were saying, careful on the 4th of July. Unfortunately, I live in a small tourist town, and it's generally, really safe here. I mean, it's a small rural town, but it's also a tourist area. So we get all the cunts from Chicago coming in here for the 4th of July. Yeah, the 357 and the Desert Eagle seems to be the only one that works reliably. You start getting up to the 44 and the 50 AE, those things got so many problems with jamming. It's not even worth having other than a range toy. So the latest count that was released here about 2 hours ago is about 44 people have been arrested so far. 9 minutes ago, LA Times newspaper is confirming that the National Guard is being sent in and calls excess threat of Marines being deployed deranged. That's from the LA Times. 2,000 National Guard troops will be sent to Los Angeles amid clashes over immigration. Hexas said Marines could be deployed, and Newsom calling Hegseth deranged. Two arrested on suspicion of assault as three deputies are injured. LA's top federal prosecutor will come and get you. Top federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, Bill Ashley, said 2 days of protests had not slowed federal enforcement in the region, and he warned that federal authorities were investigating protesters. We've got lots of video online, both surveillance video and both surveillance videos. We have FBI teams working around the clock. We will identify you. We will find you. We will come and get you, he told KLAC 9 News, Saturday night. No, you cannot open carry a firearm in California as far as I know. If you're connected enough to get a permit in California, period, I do believe it has to be concealed. So, under California Penal Code Section 26350 PC, it is illegal to open carry a handgun that is exposed, whether loaded or unloaded, on one's person or in a vehicle while in public. Oh, 1992. Yes, the rooftop Koreans. Do you think anybody left in Los Angeles, that there's anybody in Los Angeles left with that kind of balls anymore? Oh, here we go. Bus is getting attacked. Well, at least one of the protesters had the decency to pull the guy off the bus. You know what, Chris? I often wonder about some of this, if that ain't the reason. If you look after the fires in Maui, look up who bought most of the land out there when people said screw it because of all the permits and all the permission and environmental bullshit they had to deal with to rebuild their houses now that Florida passed. Look who owns about half the look up who owns about half the island now. P90, you going to play Stargate? Here we go. Looks like the violence is starting to pick up. Wonder if George Soros is funding all this again. Yeah, but back to what I was saying about Maui and after the fires there, because you mentioned real estate price drop. Oprah Winfrey's been buying up a lot of land. It's being said she owns like half the island now after the wildfires. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, Chris. Yeah. BBC is also covering this, and the 2,000 National Guards are being deployed. Well, I can tell you what don't work. Actually, Chris, give me a second and I will post you a link that you need, not just you, but anybody else here in the chat, if they feel so inclined, can get on board with. So, the link I just posted is to the bill. It is not dead. And there is actually another bill that may not be the one I'm looking for. Um, yes, it is. So it's not dead, you guys. If that is something you want to see, definitely need to call your representatives and encourage them to vote for it because it is not fully passed, and we can get national concealed carry. And the way it's worded is states like where I'm at, where you don't need a permit to carry, you would still be allowed to carry in other states regardless of a permit status. You know, Yeah, Rose, I can't say that it's all Mexicans. I do know quite a few good ones. Hell, I'm related to uh, some good ones, and I know there are some that have come here legally that are very much against what's going on with this these illegals being coming across the border, and all for ICE cracking down on them. So we can't put them all in the same boat because there are some that are very angry about it that have done it the right way. Yeah, I do too. And here's the thing, though, there are many that come here legally and they do it the right way. Those I don't have a problem with. The ones I have a problem with are the ones that are coming here illegally and using up the resources that they're not entitled to. I mean, I know there was one, his parents came here from Mexico. Their son was born here and was killed there in Kabul, Afghanistan. One of the 13 soldiers killed during the withdrawal under Biden, and it's like, I knew this family. They're good people and they did things the right way. We'll never see the Epstein files. That's for sure. I think about 98% of them have been destroyed under the Biden administration, protecting a lot of Democrats. You could guarantee they're saying now that, oh, it's because Donald Trump's name's in it. If Trump's name was in it and Trump was implicated in that, these files would have been released a long time ago. Biden would have thrown them out during the election season to ensure Kamala, or whatever the hell her name is, won the election if Trump was implicated in any way. But them files have been destroyed. We'll never see them. Oh, Chris, you're on a roll tonight. Yeah, and then went around and literally I watched the auction on that. The pieces of the wall that weren't put up, they sold for about $5 a section. So scrappers made real good money off that. But there was also many people that bought them and donated them right back to the government right after Trump was elected and took the oath of office. So that kind of backfired. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have, like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and several other ones that would be very disappointed at the way these people are acting today. At least deers know to stay in their own lane. Rose, unless things change and change quick, we don't have much of a future. You know, a few months back, there was a trend going on around Facebook and the internet in general, uh, where people were being asked, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And a lot of people said, they think about it quite often. And I admit, I'm one of them. If you look at the Roman Empire and what went on before its fall, and look at what's going on here, we're very close to that now than any other time in our history. So far, this is the only place that they're writing is Los Angeles. That's being reported, and this has actually been going on for 2 days, going on 3 days now. Um, I think just in the next day or two, it's going to spread to places like Seattle, Portland. And that's just for shits and giggles. And then any other liberal run place that there's ICE raids is probably going to get brazen because of this. So we'll be seeing skirmishes all over the place. I don't think this is going to be a one-time isolated incident. I think it's going to carry on for a while and spread. Some of it for just shits and giggles and because they can, and uh, other ones because there's raids going on in that town or whatever. I was just looking at a story that was posted about midnight from CBS News Los Angeles, and they're showing pictures. And in one of the pictures, there are black men protesting, and I find that kind of weird because living where I do, I'm in uh, proximity of Chicago, so to speak. I'm still some miles off from it. I'm about 100 miles from Chicago, but we get all the Chicago TV channels and stuff. And day after day, they were showing the black people in Chicago talking about how they can't get any help because of all the illegals that were there, that they've used up all the funds, and not even just black people, even white people that have lost their uh, job because they can hire these Mexicans at 7.25 an hour, and they're not going to complain, and get rid of somebody that pays $15 an hour to hire somebody at a lower wage. And it just baffles me how these people have lost services and lost needed things, and then they're out there protesting, doing this because whatever. I mean, the American citizens are the ones losing in all this. So, some stuff that is being reported right now as this goes on. Witnesses are reporting multiple rounds of flashbangs and pepper balls being fired at protesters. Protesters are responding by throwing rocks and other items. One person has used a vehicle to speed towards deputies, spurring the deputies to deploy flashbang grenades at the car. Yeah, we're back. Oh, they're still looting the AM/PM there. Good Lord, that store ain't going to have nothing left. You know, don't these people realize when they do this that it's going to cause the store to go out of business, and then they complain that they have food deserts and the only thing they have is to go to, a quickie mart like that and, buy some stale Slim Jims from Apu because there's no grocery store nearby and they're the ones that are causing the problem. People need to wake the fuck up. What's fake news?